the first season of the Sunday SITREP. It's not just a tournament, it's a brotherhood.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the 11th episode of the Sunday SITREP. Today we're going to go over a little about the Guardian Classic we just had this past weekend, and then we're going to dive into a little bit of controversial industry news today.
That's some
yeah, we're going to add a little spice into the podcast today for sure, and it's going to be a little bit controversial. That's for sure. We'll see how it goes. I'm not too worried about it, though. What about you, Nick?
No, it will be good. We're all adults. We can have conversations.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be fun. I mean, there's a lot going on in the industry, and there has been for a while. But, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. You gotta, call out the dog every once in a while.
Throw some fuel on the fire.
Yeah, you got to throw some fuel on the fire, light a little match, a little gasoline every once in a while, get a little spicy, for sure. But before we dive into anything, I was gonna bring up our new directors we just announced this week.
Yeah.
So if y'all are paying attention to the main AFFL page, you definitely seen that we just brought on Kentucky and Indiana as states for next year, and we got two great directors for sure. Me and Nick have both spoken with them in the interview process, and then I actually got to meet Jeff Inley, the Kentucky director, up there at the Guardian Classic this weekend, and what a standout guy. I mean, absolutely awesome gentleman. Actually helped somebody get their truck and boat home this weekend, just ready to rock Johnny on the spot, and had a plug adapter for someone, and that was pretty awesome. For
That's
sure.
Cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. But Mr. Tim Halberg from Indiana seems like a pretty awesome guy too. Looking forward to meeting him soon as well.
Yeah.
Definitely excited about having those two states on. Any update on Texas? I know you've been working with a guy from Texas.
Not yet. He's super busy. So I mean, he trains the OCS candidates.
Right.
So we're working with him. If he doesn't do it, we'll get Texas on at some point, but we'd love to have him on board, and I hope everything works out. For sure. So before we dive into some of our upcoming events and stuff, just want to go ahead and throw this up there. Make sure y'all are commenting and sharing, getting over to the YouTube and subscribing for your chance to win some stuff and things. Hashtag DSITREP, just like it is right there on the screen. Mr. Fulmer, Zach Myatt, our Louisiana director, and Mr. Morgan have already, they're the Johnny on the spot tonight. Already got it knocked out, ready to rock for the day. I know Zach had to start talking about this Forward Facing Sonar. So,
I'm sure he's gonna start chirping. I'm sure he'll be chirping in the comments for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun combo, but make sure y'all are doing that. That way y'all aren't missing out, and we'll definitely throw some more stuff up there, or another reminder later in the episode as well. But yeah, I'm not gonna. Normally we dive into tournament results first thing. I'm not gonna do that yet because we're here. It goes already started. We already. I normally dive into the results off the rip, but we're going to use that to kind of lean into the Guardian Classic. So we're going to go over some upcoming events before we get into the results from that, because I'm going to be a little long-winded on the Guardian Classic for sure. So upcoming, we have 3 events this coming weekend. The comments are already started. We haven't even started talking about it yet.
All right, we'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there, guys. We'll get there. But so this weekend, Saturday the 14th, on Lake Hartwell, Georgia, is having their first open. It's going to be at Lake Hartwell out of the Gum Branch ramp on the Georgia side. $80 entry fee, and then $10 from each boat is going to the American Veteran Post number 10. So if y'all are around the Savannah Chain area, get out there and support our new state coming on. He's definitely making some moves quick, fast,
I
and
like
in a hurry.
how he's doing that. For his opens, he's doing benefit tournaments to support local veteran organizations in his area. So
Right.
even if you're not thinking about fishing with us next year, I hope you are. But if you want to go out and support a good cause, definitely check out the opens he has.
Absolutely. And then in Louisiana, Toledo Bend out of the Pendleton Bridge ramp, Zach is holding an open derby out of there this coming weekend. And then Virginia is having their open as well on Lake Anna out of the Sturgeon Creek Marina. So if y'all are in those areas, please make sure y'all are getting out to these open derbies. Payouts are really good. And it's just another excuse to get out there and help build this brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
And maybe walk home with a couple dollars. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Guardian Classic, man. I cannot tell you how ecstatic I am for the success we had this year. Bobby and Gage and Shalina and everyone behind For His Glory Outdoors knocked it out of the park like they do the last 2 years, but this year was just even better. Like I said, it was going to be. The boat numbers didn't grow like we expected, but there's a lot of factors counting in for that. It was 95 degrees, Labor Day weekend, opening football weekend. There's a lot of factors, a lot of things that really the wrenches in the gears. There was plenty of them. But we'll go over the results real quick, and then I'm going to talk on a couple of the things. So they had 56 boats ended up being what the total was there. $10,000 was paid out, and only the Lord knows how many blessings were there. But first place, I'm really proud of this with our guy, Wesley Sandifer, and our new Georgia director, Philip Hunt, took home first place with 16.3 pounds, which is, I mean, really impressive on Lake Murray right now. I mean, people were struggling to get a bite, much less 16.3. Talking with Philip, sounded like they were running and gunning and jumping place to place. So I actually was out there running a camera boat, and I had all the AFFL guys that I talked to in the morning. I tried to round up as many as I could and had them send me their location if they had an iPhone to where I could go find them and take pictures and whatnot. And I tried to find Philip and Wesley so many times, but it's like as soon as I open my phone, it's like, oh, they're on this side of the lake, run over there. And then now they're on the other side of the lake. It's like I was playing ping pong. I couldn't keep up with them. I couldn't. I mean, they were just running around like crazy. But congrats to them. Really cool to see an AFFL director up there in the top of that and taking home that big trophy and having a good day out there on Lake Murray.
Yeah, that trophy. Did you see the picture he put up next to his dog?
Yeah, I mean, I was there when I seen it. Like, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive. And it's really great metalwork. I mean, that's what I do for a living, and I can tell you, like, just looking at it up close, I mean, it is perfect. I think it's called Limitless Metalworks or Limitless Metal Fabrication. I don't remember the exact name of the guys that did it here locally in Columbia, but they did a phenomenal job. I mean, they meant attention to detail down to the littlest thing. The paint was perfect. Everything was perfect. The welds looked great. I mean, everything. Yeah. I looked it over pretty good as a metal guy. Like I was staring at it pretty good, and I mean, couldn't ask for better. You couldn't ask for better. But second place on that was actually Professional Limitless. There you go. Thanks, Philip, for the assist there. Limitless Metal Designs. Yep. Phenomenal work of art they did on that. But second place in that derby was Brian New, the Professional Elite Series guy. I'm sure everybody in here is tracking who Brian New is. And he actually had one of my troops. I had one of my troops sign up as a veteran. We did the whole boater switch where we needed a bunch of boaters, and then all of a sudden we needed a bunch of veterans. So I hit up a couple of my troops, and he ended up going, and they ended up getting second place with 16.14 pounds. And they would have taken first. They had 2 dead fish, unfortunately. It's hot catching them deep. It's tough. But everything happens for a reason.
That's the name of the game.
It is. That's the name of the game. And then third place was Stan Gunner. He's a local minister here in Columbia. He took home third with Mickey Stalvey. I hope I didn't butcher that, with 1347. And then Russ Pageant, another AFFL angler. He's fished a couple derbies with us so far. With Kent Howell, took home fourth with 13.1. And then fifth place was Bryson Holderness. And my club partner, Lonnie Drush, he's fished a couple AFFL derbies with us and is going to be fishing with us again next year. They had 12.61, shaking them up on the old shaky head. Either way, I mean, so that's the top 5. And then the 6th place team had 3 fish. And then the next 7th was the only other limit out of 56 boats. There was only 6 limits. So Tucker Veroni and John Mills were 7th place, but they did a new thing this year, and they did a smallest 5 fish limit prize, and they took home $250 for 10.91. And then I like how they did this. So they did a veteran big fish, a boater big fish, and then you could weigh a small fish as well. You couldn't weigh a big fish and a small fish. You could weigh either big fish or small fish.
Yeah, I remember Bob. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so the veteran big fish was Michael Blackburn with a 6-pounder, 6.13, taking home $500. And then the boater big fish was one of our AFFL anglers, Hogan Hutchins, a local veteran as well, active duty here at Shaw with me. 5.34, took home $500. He was ecstatic for that fish because it'd been tough out there, and we ran up to him and took pictures of him holding it in a live well. I wish we would have been able to get pictures or video of him catching it, but
those pictures came out pretty good too. I was looking at those.
Yeah, there were some good ones. That was one of my troops, and Strickland Palmer, he is Hank Cherry's cameraman, was riding around with me. And yeah, we took a bunch of pictures, took a bunch of videos. I've got a bunch more I still got to go through. I've got over 1,000 on my desktop right now that I got to run through. But I took a lot of the good ones and kicked them out. So if any of the AFFL guys, if I came up to you and you seen me and we were taking pictures of you, hit me up if you want some. I've got a bunch, and I'll just nitpick through them real quick and get them over to you. Just let me know. And then they did a small fish pot. And I don't know who caught it, but it was Chuck Bagwell and Tony Dawson, 1.44, and that was tight. That ended up being tighter than anything else, was the small fish. There was a lot. I did the bump board, and I was, measuring all the fish and all that, and there were a lot of 1 and 2 fish bags, a lot of them.
That's crazy.
There was a lot of little fish for sure, but they were all 14 inches. I didn't have to send any away. I was pretty happy with that. I didn't want to ruin some Veterans Day out there, but wanted to keep it honest. Yeah, the Phillip. Yeah, I would have loved to catch a 1.44. Yeah, it was tough. A lot of guys did not catch them. Good guys too. I know some guys like Phillip knows Lake Murray. Phillip is good on Lake Murray, and him not catching one, it just goes to show it was tough out there for sure. But I want to talk about the AFFL guys that were out there. So we had 4 directors there. Myself, Jeff Inley, Philip Hunt, and
John
Shirley. I don't know why I blanked on his name. I'm sitting here staring at it right in front of my face. And John Shirley. So we had North Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, and South Carolina represented as directors there. But we had 18 total anglers there. And I was pretty happy with that, pretty proud of that. Brian Portlock, Tom Fulmer, Brandon Bryan, Jeremiah Jensen, John Shirley, Hogan Hutchins, Troy Crippen, Nathan Tyson, John Lanier, James Hamby, Eric Bove, Jeff Inley, Russ Paget, Philip Stutz, Lonnie Drews, Chad Artis, Bud Bowman, and Philip Hunt. That was a list of the AFFL guys out there. Thank you guys. Every single one of you for going out there and participating in that event. And if you guys were not able to make it this year, I definitely understand. Like, I'm not hammering anybody for not being there, but next year you got to be there. It's such a great event. Every veteran, boater and non-boater, went home with a lose rod and reel combo, big tackle bags. I helped build the bags, or not tackle bags, but like giveaway bags with Vortex hats, Black Rifle coffee, all these things. I mean, it was really awesome, and it was a really fun time. A lot of raffles got given away. I mean, it was really fun. So right now, everybody listening, we got 22 of you on here right now, from what I can tell. 8 November next year. They decided to do it. Bobby went around and asking everybody at the tournament. Me and him had been talking about it for a while beforehand. 8 November. He's going to change it more towards like a Veterans Day time frame. The weather's better. The fishing's better. It was brutal hot out there. There was so much boat traffic. Not as bad as last year's Labor Day, but November 8th, Dreher Island, Lake Murray, South Carolina next year. Mark your calendars. Be there. It's going to be fun. You're going to enjoy it, whether you sign up as a veteran or a boater. I've seen so many veterans that went out there that aren't into fishing or new into fishing or just getting back into it, that had a smile on their face when we seen them just randomly pulling up to them to take pictures, or afterwards, beforehand. Watching the guys, I think one of the coolest parts about it for me was we sat out there as the safety boat and made everybody, come by us. We double checked they had their life jackets on, kill switches, all that, just looking and making sure all the nav lights were working as they idled out, and then they had to blast off past us. All the veterans, every one of them just seemed absolutely stoked to be in that lineup in the blast off. I mean, it's something for those guys, especially the guys that don't get to participate in tournaments on a regular basis. It makes such a difference for them, and lives have been changed through this event. So please, y'all, mark your calendar. I see a couple people on here.
We just clicked the same thing.
Double click. Eric Bove, thanks for coming, Eric, and already got it locked in. And
this is one of my guys right here. I want to I'm going to see if I can rally a few boats and make the trip down.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Get like an Airbnb on the water and make a vacation out of it. It'll be a fun time. Trip. November might be starting to get a little tight for y'all though, huh?
Depends on the year. I mean, we could get hammered with snow, or it can be, the last couple of years have been pretty mild, so who knows.
Okay.
But yeah.
There you go. Mr. Myatt gonna come down here. No live scoping it. Sorry, a little early. We're not into that yet. But yeah, I promise you guys, I don't know if Jeff's in here. I thought I seen him post. I know John might be in here as well, but the guys that come out of state, the guys that come out of state, will make it worth your time for sure, and make it fun. So next year, me and Nick were talking. There is Jeff. Something we were talking about, maybe getting in an Airbnb or something like that as the directors. Maybe get a giant house. If anybody wants to, come in, all the AFFL anglers, maybe we can get a giant Airbnb, split it up, save everybody some money, have a week of everybody fishing, learning Lake Murray, and just having a good time and getting some vets on the water while we do it. I definitely think it would be a good opportunity to expand on that brotherhood piece for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Well, I reckon we can move on for that. Before we do, one more time, thank you to all the guys that were there, all the AFFL anglers. And if we have any people on here that weren't AFFL anglers that were there, thank you guys for participating. It was an absolute blast for sure. I'm gonna hold you to this, Philip. I don't care if we have 30 or 100. You better hold true. I'll hold you to it. And he's building a really beautiful home right there next to Lake Murray.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait to see it. But yeah, so here we go with the spicy stuff. Real quick before we dive into the spicy part of the podcast tonight, If y'all weren't here in the beginning and don't know how to do it, just like it's on the screen right here, like, share, and comment, hashtag the SITREP, and make sure you get over to our YouTube page and subscribe to that for your chance to win a hat, a neck gaiter, and some barbecue sauce from Southern Fusion.
T-shirt this time.
T-shirt, my bad. I apologize. No hat, T-shirt. You're right.
So they come in different colors. They're on the website, but they're really comfortable. This is the, let's see, it's backwards on the screen. Yep. So that's the front, and the back has the logo small, and then our slogan on there as well. Sorry, trying to show you here.
Oh no,
really lightweight. It's just a standard T-shirt. It's not like the fishing shirts that we all wear, like that material. They're just standard T-shirts, but they're really comfortable. So that's the instead of the neck gaiter, that's what we're doing. So if you win, make sure you give your shirt size. Message the page or Austin or myself.
Absolutely.
We'll get that sent out.
Yep. So you ready to do this, Nick?
All right. So when we get into it here, let us know what you guys think about Forward Facing Sonar, and we'll try and keep up with the comments.
Yeah, here I'll take this down so that we can throw some comments up there and it not be all distracting.
So we're going to go over the industry stuff. You guys can comment away in there.
Yep.
And, yeah.
So
for us, ask them.
Yeah, for sure. So first things first, the industry is changing with technology, obviously. Forward facing sonar, 360, all that, the non-traditional 2D side imaging, down imaging, all that, the new stuff is taken over, and it's definitely dominated some tournaments, especially it was at first was just like up north in the smallmouth country, and then obviously seeing the MLF this year on the Chowan River, a tidal river in North Carolina, and they're still dominating with it.
I mean, even Okeechobee. I mean,
Okeechobee. Yep.
He wasn't using it in the river.
Yep. That was last year. Yeah, I forgot about that last year. Yeah, going out there looking for sockeye and ended up figuring out a pattern on the last day of practice with live scope. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Places you don't expect it, right? Okeechobee, you're used to flipping and throwing the big easies and doing all that. So the news is kind of beat me to it. We are banning live scope for any type of forward facing sonar for the national championship and for the remainder of the existence of the Armed Forces Fishing League as we see it right now. I'm joking. We can't do that.
Probably lost 20 viewers.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. We can't do that yet. It would be unrealistic for our guys that fish other trails and everything that allow it. I feel right now, and I think me and you both kind of seem eye to eye on this, Nick. Right now at the level we're at, it doesn't make sense to ban it, because if you're fishing BFLs or another organization where it's allowed, me personally, I wouldn't come fish if I had to rip all that stuff off my boat to just put it back on my boat next weekend. Right. I'm not going to do that. And I feel like a lot of folks feel that way. I wouldn't be going through all that trouble just to fish a tournament.
Not only that, but I feel like the level that we're at right now, yes, some of the tournaments are won using live scope or live imaging, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Some are not. I mean, we're fishing local tournaments for the most part.
Right.
A lot of these guys know their spots on the lakes already.
Exactly.
So at the point we're at, we're not banning it.
Right.
It doesn't make sense for us to do it right now. So
absolutely. But we are going to get into what all the other professional organizations did. And I think it's I kind of agree with that as well, Philip. I mean, if we were all that good with it, why wouldn't we be up at the top levels at this point? And
yeah,
I'm with you here as well.
That's the thing with it, is a lot of people, especially from my experience, people that haven't used it, they just assume because you have it on your boat that the fish are just going to start jumping into your boat or just biting your lure because you have it.
You still have to know where the fish are. You still
have
have
to
to set it up right.
I
Yeah.
will say my favorite thing about it is because I do a lot of offshore fishing. I can pull up to a rock pile, look at the rock pile, and instead of fan casting for hours or whatever, an hour and hoping for a bite, I can see if there's fish on it.
Right.
The time that you can save using it, that is my favorite part about it. I've
Absolutely.
only had it for 2 years. I've been fishing a lot longer than 2 years. If it ever got banned in fishing altogether, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop fishing.
Right.
I can still fish without it. Like it's just another tool in the toolbox for me to use.
Absolutely. And it kind of helps shape that learning curve down a little
Yeah.
bit when, like you're saying, the rock pile, like seeing how they're sitting. If you're looking at a steep break or a real, shallow flat or what you're actually looking at. And for me, it just saves some money. If I'm fishing brush piles, I'm not running my crankbaits down into the bottom of the brush pile anymore. I can stop and, run it over the brush pile and
Yeah.
save a $20 crankbait. It definitely helps with that for sure, at least for me. But I catch more catfish on it than I do anything else. So, is what it is.
And I think
But
it's more frustrating too. Like you'll see fish follow your lure and they don't bite
absolutely.
it.
I think what it's really done for me is just show me how many more fish are in the lake than we thought they are. Now identifying what type of fish they are, I don't know. But yeah. What I think's really neat though is I think it is kind of neat. I don't know if they coordinated this or not between Major League Fishing, Bass, and the National Professional Fishing League. I don't know if that was coordinated between the three or what, but I really think it's neat how all three of them did something completely different.
Yeah.
I definitely think that's cool. So for those of y'all that are not tracking, Major League Fishing limited it. They didn't ban it. They took it down to where the anglers have to choose one period per day. So they fish 3 periods in the day. They have to only use it for 1 period. And there was something cool on that too. I was going to read. Where'd it go? There it is. So the cool thing is there's like on the MLF now, if you're watching on their website, you can actually add it's going to have an indicator on the score tracker of who's using it, who can still use it, who's not using it, to where you can kind of see how it's really affecting it. The thing I think that's cool about Major League Fishing doing it that way is that gives you the prime opportunity to actually see how it's affecting people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree with that.
100% agree with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine paying that money, putting the time in to go fish that event, and then just having someone locked onto a brush pile or a rock pile, and you're just out back. That'd
Right.
be terrible. It would suck.
Yeah, and Lonnie's told me so many stories of him. He fishes BFLs as a co a lot, and being out on Hartwell in March in 35 to 40 feet of water, and the dude's fishing an isolated hump or brush piles or whatever. And as a co-angler, you literally have nothing to throw at. It's just chuck out there in 70 feet and hope, I guess. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is what a lot of us do here right now, at our level at least, is just using it as right time management and to see what you're actually looking at. Right? I mean, it's easy to see. I mean, I'm sure most of us in here know how to read contour maps and know how to show what's a steep drop and all that, but putting the visualization that LiveScope gives you on what that drop looks like, or how that point's set up, or seeing those little things like, oh, there's a rock pile on the end of that point that I never noticed before, little things like that.
It was actually pretty cool on Champlain. I was side scanning past this flat, and I could see something there. It was huge, and I was like, "What is that structure?" I could see like little square cutouts. So I whipped around and put the live imaging on it, and it was a sunken ship. And I ended up looking it up. It was from the Revolutionary War.
That's crazy.
It was pretty cool. Or War of 1812. That's what it was. Yeah, it was pretty cool to see that. But that, I like that. You can see actually, like, sometimes you just see like a blob on your side scan or whatever, and you can actually point at it and see what you're looking at. It just helps you pick it apart a little bit.
That's pretty neat. That's
Yeah.
cool. And it's actually helped save people's lives and stuff. People, or not save lives, but help cold cases and stuff. There's been a bunch of articles about people finding trucks and SUVs and just vehicles, by boat ramps and whatnot. It's pretty neat.
I'll tell you
But-
though, when I was at the St. Lawrence, I don't know if it was just coincidence, but I almost feel like some of these fish are adapting to that ping off the live.
Yeah.
Because there's times I'd pull up to a spot I knew had fish on it. I'd point at them with the active target, and they'd swim away. As soon as the ping went out to them, they'd start swimming away. So it's just like anything else. Like they're gonna adapt to it.
Right. I've seen it on Murray too. Actually, last year practicing for the Guardian Classic, I had a tree coming up, and I ran an Alabama rig over it. And as I got to those fish, like I turned, seen them, and my Alabama rig was coming to them, and those fish shot down to the bottom away from it. Like, how like when you're running something mid-level and they shoot up off the bottom real quick, like they're about to eat it. They did the same method away from it. Like, I mean, just beelined it away. And that's what I kind of think it was that ping of the live scope on these lakes that are just hammered with it. I definitely agree with that they're starting to feel it, understand it, and know to get away from it, for sure. But
I will say it is fun though when you cast out there and you see one start swimming up. It's like,
oh yeah, it gets a
I
heart
do
pumping.
enjoy it. I'm not trying to bad anyway, but
yeah, it definitely gets my heart pumping.
Like I said, if they take it away, I'm still gonna go fishing. It's not gonna
absolutely.
It's not gonna affect life at all.
Me either. Bass took an interesting approach to it. That I thought Bass did what I thought was going to happen across all the organizations. They went down to the one transducer. You can only have it on your trolling motor. And then they went to a screen size limit to 55 inches. And their claim on the 55-inch total screen limit is more for safety than live scoping and all that. Just so that, I mean, if you do look, there's some dudes with some ridiculous sized.
It's absurd.
Yeah. You got 2 16s on your console.
What are those MBT? What are they, like 24 inches or whatever, 20 something inches? It's like,
yeah, it's insane.
I wouldn't complain having it, but
right.
At the same time, it's like, what, I could go put my 70-inch flat screen on the front of my boat. Where do you draw the line?
Exactly. So I think that's a pretty neat method they did there with the screen limit. And then Bass is the only one that took away the crappie brakes. I thought that was pretty interesting. I figured that would be pretty nice for the guys up. I don't know if I agree with that one as much. I think it helps, but like the way they do up in the St. Lawrence when they're drifting and all that, using big drift socks, I feel like those crappie brakes were a safer manner because the drift socks can become unsafe.
The new trolling mode. Well, they have drift paddles you can put on your power poles too.
Right.
And then they have the I'm pretty sure Minn Kota, their new Ultrex, the Quest, has a drift mode on it. So I don't know how it works, but I'm assuming you set a waypoint, drift back, set another waypoint, and then it keeps.
It takes you back and forth, right?
I could be wrong, but I know they have like some sort of drift mode on there.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I believe that is the new Ultrex Quest. But they I thought that was pretty neat that they were the first ones to do that. I'm sure maybe we'll see that more.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with that.
I was talking about this with my brother, how they, some of the pros have, 2, 3 transducers up front. They have a couple hanging off, the left side of the boat, the right side. And then I've even seen them where they have like a pole they drop over on the driver's seat when they can like idle by docks and take a look, it was. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, instead of sitting there side scanning and trying to figure out what brush is under docks, they could just auto right past and see exactly what it looks like, which is pretty cool.
Is this true? I heard something about that, and then I didn't see it in there.
It's not in Bass's rules.
Heard rumors about that happening.
I read through Bass's new rule changes, and I didn't see anything about any kind of baits.
That one would make me upset because both of those baits have been around
I feel
forever.
like, yeah, I feel like that's really hard to do because how do you justify a deep diving jerkbait? Like, where's the line? You
Yeah.
know, and what's a normal diving jerkbait or a suspending jerkbait versus a deep diving jerkbait? Um, I'll have to look that up, Josh.
I love jerkbait fishing, so that one would kind of
Yeah.
that'd make me
What
upset.
was he saying that it's banned or it's a rumor
I
or the
saw
like
that
talking
video.
about
He
it?
said that they just had a meeting and they banned jig head minnows like the straight tail, not the paddle tail. You can still do it with a paddle tail and deep diving jerk baits, but I didn't see it in the rules that they released. So I don't.
I feel like that's kind of hard to justify because right, you banned a straight tail minnow. Okay. Can I just cut the paddle off the tail? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I
yeah,
feel like that leaves more of a gray area there. And I mean that's been a lot of the controversy this year in the Elite Series is the gray areas, for sure. Um, yeah, there you go, Bobby, rocking the Guardian Classic hat. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. We I don't know if you were in earlier, Bobby, but we definitely talked a lot about the Guardian Classic. But I definitely want to look at that uh Scott Martin video. I'm curious on
it
that.
was just I don't know. And I love fishing, like power fishing, crankbaits, jerk baits. So like
Right,
I did that long before I ever even knew about, or even before it came out. Forward facing sonar.
right.
That's my go-to.
Same. I mean, heck, I was throwing crankbaits on a spinning rod before
Yeah,
FFS was even a thing. It just meant a effing flipping stick back then. Um, but anyways, the MPFL I think is the cool one, and I think we're gonna see a cosmic shift here. The MPFL completely banned all live sonar, anything that's live, but they didn't ban 360. They just did the live real time imaging, as they called it in their press release. They called it real time live imaging, and specifically stated, I have it here. Um, so live forward facing sonar during official practice and competition, other sonar, 2D, side imaging, 360, etc., will continue to be permitted. Use of future technology will be evaluated on a case by case basis. So I think that's cool. And I think what you're going to see is there's obviously a lot of FFS haters out there on the tours now. MPFL has really made a name for themselves in the payout realm of $100,000 payouts with less entry fees. Their payouts in general are better. And now they're talking about the rumor is they're building a feeder league for next year. So I'm really curious to see if with all these changes, like I feel like Bass guys and MLF guys aren't going to jump ship next year. You know what I mean?
I think maybe a couple of them will. I actually think it was really smart with what they
Yep.
did because they gave a place for all those guys who hate live scope to go.
Exactly.
And they're the least viewed out of all three of those major organizations. So I think it's going to help them. It was a marketing tool, really, when you look at it.
Right.
Help their viewership because that turns into dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So it was smart. They did a good thing for themselves for sure.
They absolutely did. It was definitely a genius move. Absolutely.
Do you think they should ban bed fishing before any baits? I don't know. I mean,
So
I'm torn about it. Like some states, like our state up here in New Hampshire, we cannot fish from May 15th to June 15th and keep a fish in the. You can go fishing, you just can't put anything in your live well, a bass,
right.
because it's our spawn. Sometimes it comes sooner or after, but
Right.
I think that states realize, like the biologists and the fisheries divisions realize what they have for a population. So if they allow it, I don't think they don't think it's going to hurt the population at all. That's my thought on it, but I don't know. I'm torn about that one.
I am too, because I don't like it necessarily. Like plucking fish off the bed and then running 30 miles down the lake and then letting them go is probably not the best thing. I think those fish will still spawn. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like I don't think it's changing too much, but we've seen all the um all the videos. I'm sure a lot of these guys, all of us have seen the videos where they're showing that the bass don't migrate home majority of the time. They're going to stay where they're released within a couple miles. So if you're running 30 miles up the river and catching bed fish, then you're potentially taking away from the population in that part of the lake. I don't think it's going to affect them spawning. Uh, I don't know. I'm real torn on that one too.
yeah,
But I do agree. Like before we start getting into weird gray areas with baits and all that, I wouldn't mind seeing changing schedules around to where preventing bed fishing more than banning it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think
Push out a little further, into the fall more.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, just shift the schedule to the right a little bit. Because Florida, no matter what time you go from December to May almost, there's fish spawning in
Yeah,
Florida. That's just how Florida works. So maybe bump it off the schedule and go back into the fall. Or maybe closer to that May, like the Bassmaster did this year. Went a little later. And I don't know. Or was it which one was it? Was it Bass? Who went to Florida in May this year? It was the heavy hitters, the MLF heavy hitters. Jordan Lee was cracking them on the frog and that mat. Maybe do something along there, along those lines where that you're not spawn fishing. I don't know. The most funny to watch is all the anglers griping about the new information.
So I just saw something today. They revoked that, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I thought I saw something online that they actually took that away.
Huh. Oh, yeah, this is right. Yeah, that's right. They started down in Texas this year and then went to Florida. But we're about to go over their schedule. They went back to the old ways. Bass's schedule is really interesting this year. So I'll pull it up here. I have it.
Is that how many events do they usually do? I feel like that's more than usual.
I think it is an additional event. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, I think that's normal. I think it's always 9 events.
Can you make that bigger? Or is that the
I think that's as big as it goes. I might be able to okay, there you go. Make it full screen, yeah. So they're starting in February down St. John's River, then immediately following up to Lake Okeechobee, which is nothing new with bass. Starting in Florida, doing back-to-backs, staying right there local, which makes sense for the anglers. I have no quarrels with that, rolling right out of one event into a practice for the next.
Oh yeah.
So your guys that are coming from up north aren't having to turn and burn and doing all that. I like that, the way they did that. And then they're going to Texas for the Classic at Ray Roberts. And then April 10th, they're coming up to North Carolina for the Pastank River and Albemarle Sound. I'm probably saying that wrong.
So I looked that up. That's actually just
a little, yeah.
Chowan.
Yeah, the Chowan, yeah. The
Yeah.
Chowan, however you say it. It's the same exact area. Same main river, that Albemarle Sound.
Place looks pretty cool, man.
There's a lot of backwater.
Yeah.
There's a lot of backwater stuff in that. A lot of cypress trees and cool little hidey spots. I think it'll be fun to watch. I didn't get to watch a lot of the MPF or the MLF there this year. I watched some of it, but I didn't get to watch a lot. But I'm excited to see what the Elite Series does down there for sure. definitely expect to see some big bags from everything I've heard from up there.
Yeah.
And then they're coming here to South Carolina at the end of April on Lake Hartwell.
Man, that lake gets beat up.
It sure does. I think they'll be here. The Opens will be here at the beginning or mid-October, if I'm not mistaken. They just had the high school national championship or college national championship, one of the two, out there on Hartwell that was just loaded with boats, 200-300 again.
I wonder why they don't go out west more, like, Havasu or Meade in Arizona, or like even to California has some pretty good lakes too.
Right. I really think it's just what it would cost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The anglers, the infrastructure package to take it out there and set all that up out west. And you know how this is. The money, man. It's all about the money and who's paying. So if the Western cities, the Chamber of Commerce or whatever, whoever's scheduling that isn't paying, they're not going to go. I think that's why you see Sabine River. I don't think any of those anglers want to go back to Sabine River again. Every one of them I've heard, especially in May, it's already going to be brutal hot. The fishing sucks. Oh, sorry. All right, a little premature there. The fishing sucks. It's brutal hot. They're having to make 2-hour straight runs. I think that's just a money grab for bass, personally. There's that, and the fact that Santee doesn't have any fish in it right now, unless you're this guy and his partner right there. But yeah, Bud, I think the same thing about the ABA. I do agree with that, especially the fact that they're going back to West Point right now. That's pretty wild. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, there's it's a money grab. I mean, Lake Fork, I get, right? Like, Lake Fork has consistently produced big bags, good show. Everybody loves Lake Fork. All the anglers love it. All the people watching love it. No doubt. Sabine, no. 10 Killer, I'm excited for that one. I think that's satire by Mr. Stutz there.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think that's satire. But yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a lot of money for bass, and I mean, they need it. I'm sure it makes sense. They're a business, right? They got to make their money.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think anybody wants to see the Sabine River after this year. Hopefully, it's another 10, 20 years before we see it again. But then 10 Killer, I think, is going to be cool because they haven't been there since 2019 when Carl Jockmanson won there. I liked watching that, throwing the big football jig, catching smallies and largemouth. That's pretty neat. That's a cool lake in Oklahoma. And then normal up north, St. Clair. I think this is what's different. You're seeing St. Clair
instead of Champlain and the St. Lawrence.
Right. And you got the Mississippi River in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I'm really excited for that because the Mississippi River up there in La Crosse, you're going to see guys frogging, punching, flipping, doing all that stuff. And then you're still going to see guys out there off deep fishing for the smallies. That's going to be a fun derby to watch, I think.
I like that flyer too.
Yeah, they did. Bass's graphic designers and their marketing team is phenomenal. Every one of I always admire it, how they do these things. And then you got MLFs. This looks like I did it. But this is the MLF's BPT schedule, Lake Conroe. And then you got in January, you got the Harris Chain in February. Coming back to Lake Murray, I'm not really excited about that. I feel like they're just going to continue to beat up Lake Murray until it's the next Hartwell, maybe. Gunnersville, I'm excited for that. We haven't seen a big derby on Gunnersville in a while. It's cool that they're having Red Crest there. I do agree with that, Zach. I missed that. We'll go back to that. I do agree with that. Because I mean, Florida is kind of hit or miss. Obviously, we've seen people do good with it in Florida and not using it in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
The past tank, I think you're going to see a little bit of both there. Hartwell, in April, you've got a good chance to see guys up shallow doing the power fishing deal and guys out deep chasing the bigger spots. Fork, I think, will probably turn into in May. I think is going to be forward facing. Sabine River, probably not. 10 Killer probably will be. And then St. Clair, I don't really know. Probably mostly
It's a pretty
FFS.
shallow lake too.
It is, and there's pads and stuff up there, right? There's shallow water game up there. And then the 21st or the last one on Mississippi River, I think we'll see a good mix on that one as well. But I don't know, but I don't know if there's big bags on Santee this week.
You sound like you lost all faith in that lake.
I have. I feel like Bud and Chad are the only ones that can catch them out there this year. I mean, it's been so brutal to me this year. So Philip, I was not gonna put Clarks Hill on just because of the drive. A lot of the folks are gonna have. The Georgia division is gonna cover Clarks Hill and the Savannah chain this year. If I get enough guys that want it, I will throw it on there. So if y'all are my South Carolina guys on here and y'all want to see Clarks Hill, please let me know and I'll throw it on there. I love that lake, so I have no reservations against it. I just don't want to make people drive that distance if they don't want to. But back to the MLF, they're going to have Chickamauga, and I like that they put Chickamauga and Nickajack, so that means they're going to be letting people walk through.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a fun derby to watch in the beginning of May. A lot of frog fishing, a lot of flipping. It's going to be fun to watch. So you're going to have two derbies right there back to back, just straight flipping. Flipping, punching, throwing frogs. It's going to be fun. And then, yeah, but I'm tracking, but when it's every time, then it's not a blind hog anymore.
This one I'm excited for because I just want to go here so bad.
Smith Mountain. Yeah, I'm really excited to see. I don't think there's been a professional level tournament on there.
I don't know. It's been a long time if there has.
Right. I can't recall a single tournament that was memorable on Smith Mountain Lake. I'm really curious to see how that goes. May up there in that deep mountain lake, maybe see some spawning action, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun. And then Kentucky Lake. So they're the first professionals to go back to Kentucky Lake in a long time.
Yeah.
I know the Tackle Warehouse hit it the last 2 years and did really good. I'm really excited to see live coverage for the full time on Kentucky and see how she's turning around. I heard the smallmouth population is just booming right now. Potomac River and then Saginaw Bay. I think those will be fun. The two tidal rivers come together. That's something I noticed I didn't speak on here. So MLF and Bass both have two tidal rivers on their schedule this year. I think that's pretty neat. See how people adapt to the tidal rivers.
Where's the so they have the that's
the
right.
Sabine and the Pass Tank up there. Yeah. I'm really curious to see how that goes. So I got another Clarks Hill here.
Oh yeah.
All right. If we got some Clarks Hill guys, I'll definitely throw it on the schedule. I love that lake so much. It's so fun. We'll probably try to do April, and maybe we'll hit the heron spawn right. That will be fun. But yeah, so I don't know how to leave this, but definitely interesting schedules from both of the organizations. And PFL hasn't dropped theirs yet, but I'm excited to see theirs and see what theirs looks like. And who knows? I'm hoping the MPFL is going to do like a hard school. Let's do an old school tournament schedule. Taking away FFS. Come to Santee.
Yeah.
Go to, like an old Lake Hickory in Tennessee. You know what I mean? Like some old school. Let's see some just straight raw cranking, throwing buzz baits, spinner baits, get back to the old school stuff. I would love to see a full professional level tournament like that. It's been a while. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, he's right. Who went there last year and really showed it off?
MLF.
Was it the BPT or was it the Tackle Warehouse series? I think it was the
I
Tackle
remember.
Warehouse. Yeah, and they really showed up and showed out, and it was wild. And now everybody's coming to Clarks Hill. I forgot about that. I'll start moving on that. Any of my South Carolina guys, let me know if y'all want to go to Clarks Hill, and I'll start looking at the availability on that. That is a busy lake. Hopefully, I don't schedule on top of another 300 boat high school tournament like I did 2 years ago. That was a nightmare.
I believe it.
But yeah, y'all, I mean, that's about all we got. Anybody got any questions on the forward facing sonar? So it's not banned for the AFFL yet. We'll see.
Honestly, the only way I could ever see us banning it is if some restriction came out saying you have to follow these guidelines. And the most that I would see us doing is exactly what Bass did.
Right. I'm with
One
that.
transducer on the trolling motor.
I don't think a lot of guys at our level right now are even thinking
I
of
haven't
2
seen one boat
transducers.
with 6 transducers on it. I've seen a
Right.
couple with 2. One's
Yeah.
in perspective, one's in
And one
forward.
in forward, right? I think that's the most common that we're seeing with multiple, except at the pro levels where you got Taku E2 with one at every angle off the
Yeah.
boat. I mean,
It's
it's
crazy.
nuts. Crazy. I mean, you got $20,000 in transducers on the boat. It's
And he's
nuts.
using like saltwater transducers too, if I'm not mistaken, because they have a clear image further out.
That's what a lot of the guys doing running the 2 are. They're running a 62 or 64 or whatever it is in perspective because it can shoot further out at the perspective mode, and then using the 34 for the forward facing part.
Yeah, these comments here.
Yeah, I'm with you
Yeah.
guys. This broke old E6. I ain't got that much money for all them transducers. But
Not only that, dude, but you start adding that stuff on. Now look at the power you need. With
yeah.
one transducer, I had to add another small battery because it was just draining my cranking battery.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've got mine on a dedicated lithium.
Yeah.
And even it dies just running I've got a 23 amp hour or whatever. I should have went a little bigger, but it struggles to keep up with it when I'm running it multiple days in a row. It doesn't really care to do that as much. But all right, y'all, I'm going to give y'all your last opportunity to jump in the giveaway. Hashtag the SITREP. Make sure you like, share, comment. And then if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go over there and subscribe to the YouTube channel so that we can kind of boost that up a little bit. That's our goal this year, is to really grow that. But please make sure y'all are getting over there to that. And we just want to give a big shout out to, sorry, Nick, I'm blocking your face there a little bit.
That's okay.
Big shout out to all of our sponsors. Crazy Hick, that was an awesome show we did with him. We're still trying to get Tactical Fishing on so we can show him off and talk with him. Andrew's a really awesome guy. Same with YOLO Tech. And then we obviously had the good show with Jamie Murphy from Southern Fusion Barbecue. And then big shout out to Strike King and Lose for all the big donations they gave to For His Glory last weekend for that tournament. I mean, it was absolutely awesome.
And to our
and to the national. I forget about the national. Yep.
Yeah.
They sent a bunch of stuff out to Nick for the national. Definitely excited about that. Folks, before we go and before I start to wrap it up a little bit for the national, if you guys don't have jerseys yet and haven't ordered them and you're going to the national, it's crunch time. You got to get them in ASAP or you're not.
If you want them, it's not mandatory.
Yeah. It's not mandatory, but if you want them, they're saying 2 to 3 week lead time to have it to you. So get that in now.
Yeah, this week.
Yeah, this week, or you're gonna miss out on that.
One thing I did
sure.
want to mention, it's a question that's come up a few times for nationals. So our official practice is that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It is off limits the month prior. During official practice, the question was, can you take a guided trip? This has come up a few times.
Oh, yeah.
During official practice, no, you cannot. You cannot do that. It is for you to practice. If you want to, if you're going with family and you want to take your family out while you're fishing, that's perfectly fine. No guided trips. So just to clear the air on that, because it's been asked quite a few times. So
Right. Yeah, absolutely not. But yeah, that's all I got. Do you have anything, Nick? I'm gonna go over the make sure y'all are jumping in that the giveaway real quick. Finishing that up. We've got a bunch of people in here. We've got 22 entries. Oh, that's pretty good actually. Better than normal.
Jared has a couple questions. Yeah, we got Kentucky and Indiana. Very excited about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then for the link, if you're talking about the
jerseys,
please get with Austin.
I'll message if you don't get it from me tonight, Jared, hit me in the morning and I will get you the order form for the jerseys. For sure. And any of the other South Carolina guys or any of the states, hit up your state director ASAP to get those if you have not already ordered them, for sure. But yeah, so before we do the giveaway, real quick, we're gonna go over some of the upcoming events I did at the beginning. We're gonna hash it out again real quick. This Saturday, the 14th, we have 3 events coming up. All 3 of them are opens. Down in Georgia, we have Lake Hartwell out of Gum Branch. $10 per boat's going to American Veteran Post number 10. So get out there, support that post, support Georgia's first ever event with the AFFL, and have fun out there on Hartwell, maybe catching them a little bit. Louisiana, Toledo Bend, Pendleton Bridge Ramp, Virginia, Lake Anna, Sturgeon Creek Marina. All 3 of those events are this Saturday, the 14th. Make sure you're all getting out there and expanding on that brotherhood. Let me go ahead and start queuing up the giveaway thing. So y'all got a few more seconds if you have not done the giveaway to jump in here real quick. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Let's see who it is tonight. We're on a fresh month, so anybody can win. Hopefully somebody new. Dang. I don't know why this thing continues to like repeats. Danny Melinder.
Well, he didn't win.
He didn't win. He won in the beginning when we first started.
Yeah.
So Danny Melinder, I think I don't know if Nick has your address or I do, but send it to us again so we don't have to go digging for it, please.
And your shirt size.
And your shirt size, and we'll get all this stuff over there to you.
If you go on the website, it's the you'll see this color shirt in the picture. You can pick a color out. Just send the color and the shirt size, and then we'll get that shipped out to you.
Absolutely. Congrats, Danny. Congrats to all our August winners. We had Josh Morgan, Bob Frenchette, Mike Sheehan, and Melissa Hunt. Congrats to all y'all, and congrats to Danny this week. I don't really have any. Oh, what?
Last week, we didn't do one last Sunday.
We didn't do one last Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah, we just had a lot going on. Sorry, we didn't apologize for that yet. Sorry, guys, for the kind of the last minute cancellation. Our guest ended up falling through. He was busy with some things going on and whatnot. And I was slammed right after the Guardian Classic. I was trying to go through a bunch of pictures and videos, and I was just beat up to say the least. I was tired. I needed a day of rest for sure. That wore me out pretty good. 18 hours straight Saturday. I was pretty done.
Yeah.
I was pretty done. But I don't have anything else, Nick. You got anything else for them?
I'm good.
Good deal. Well, man, we'll have a good week. We'll see y'all next week. Next week, we got Philip Hunt, our Georgia director and winner of the Guardian Classic. We're going to dive in pretty deep with him on his background, what he's got going on in Georgia, and maybe get a little bit of insider recap of how his first tournament goes next week. Yeah. Well, y'all have a good week. Peace. Not just a tournament, it's a brotherhood.